Hello everyone, it's Becca from Becca Books and Bujo, and today we are talking about all of the series I am currently reading. I saw a lot of these currently reading series videos toward the beginning of the year, and I was like, I'm never gonna record one of those videos. But alas, here we are. Because once I saw those videos, I was like, there's no way I'm reading that many series to tell you about them. But then I got the Hardback Hoarders reading spreadsheet or book trackers spreadsheet, and she has a few different series trackers. And once I started putting in the series that I was in the middle of, yeah, there are a lot. And so I am going to tell you all the series that I am currently reading right now or currently in the middle of. And yeah, it'll just be a fun tracker to see how I'm doing year to year. If I'm making any progress in the series, if I am starting new series, should be good. I do want to apologize. I'm looking down at my computer at the spreadsheet where all of these books and series are tracked. So first of all, I just want to talk about the series I'm currently caught up with, and that is two series. The first is the Supernatural Investigations series, or if you've heard of Amari and the Night Brothers or Amari and the Great Game. These are both by B.B. Alston. I'm fairly certain this will be a trilogy. So I've read the two that are out and then hoping to read the third book once B.B. Alston comes out with that third book. The second series I am currently caught up with is Lightfall by Tim Probert. This is a middle grade graphic novel series. I've read both that are currently out and I'm hoping that there will be more. The second book ended on kind of a cliffhanger, so I would assume that there would be more books coming out, but we shall see. So now let's jump into the series that I am in the middle of at some point. Some I have read only one in the series, some I only have one left to read, and for some of them I'm somewhere in between. So the first book I actually have a propped because I have a lot of her books on my shelves, but this is the Inspector Armand Gamache series, Chief Inspector Armand Gamache, I should say. These are by Louise Penny, and I have read 6 of these books, I think. There are 18 currently out, and she comes out with a new book every year, so I've got to get going. But these are fun mystery novels about an inspector named Armand Gamache who solves these murder mysteries that take place in this small little town in Canada called Three Pines. I love reading those books in the winter because I feel like they always take place in the winter, and so I want to cozy up with a Louise Penny book and read it in the winter. So I might have to wait to get to those until this fall or winter. The second series I'm in the middle of is Track. Actually, yeah, they're called the Track books by Jason Reynolds. I have read Ghost and Patina, but I have yet to read Lou and Sunny. These books are about some teenagers who are on a track team, and each of these teenagers have some very serious issues that they need to overcome, some things in their life that they have to deal with, and I enjoy them. I read Ghost, which is the first in the series, and really liked that one. Patina, not so much. It was just kind of the middle of the road. And so I think I would pick those up if I ever want a fast listen. Then we've got the Ballinger Sisters by Tessa Bailey. This is just a duology. The first one is called It Happened One Summer, and I can't tell you what the second one is about, but this basically is romance mixed with Schitt's Creek. And the first one was really good, and I can't wait to listen to the second. I've got another prop for this one. This is the Heartstopper series by Alice Oseman. These are a wonderful graphic novel series about 2 boys who fall in love. If you don't know what Heartstopper is, that's too bad for you, but you should read them. I have read the first 4 volumes, and there are rumors that Alice Oseman is coming out with a 5th. However, they are dealing with some mental health issues, and I am completely understanding in that, and they need to do what is best for them. So I will wait for a 5th one. I hope that it comes because I love Nick and Charlie. But yeah, I can't wait to see what happens with this couple next. The next series I'm reading is the Illuminae Files by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. I have only read the first book, Illuminae, and so there are 3 others that I have not read. Obsidio is possibly one. I know there's a short little novella, but these are fun mixed media young adult books about teenagers in space and like AI taking over. So it's fun, and I would love to continue with them. Next, I'm in the middle of the Outlander series by Diana Gabaldon. I have read 6 out of the 10. I think she just came out with the 9th, and a 10th will come out very soon. She said it will be a 10-book series. So I read the first 6. And I do enjoy this story so much. We follow a woman named Claire who goes back in time to the 1500s, 1600s during the Scottish Revolution. And it's not a revolution. I don't know what it's actually called. Some war in Scotland. And she falls in love. And so it's this historical fiction, sci-fi, romance, and it is a really enthralling story. However, they're just getting so long, first of all, very long and hard to keep up with when I don't read them one after the other. So I have to remind myself what I just read. What I really do enjoy though is reading the book before I watch the series, the television series. I think that HBO Max has done a really good job. No, Stars. Stars has done a really good job in recreating these books into the screen, and it's a very enjoyable story. Oofda. We've got quite a few more to go. Next up, we've got Lumberjanes, which is a middle grade graphic novel series, actually more of a comic, I would say. And these are by Shannon Waters, and a bunch of other authors that I don't remember. I am 7 out of 13 of these books. So I've read 7, have 6 more to go. These are just fun to pick up kind of as palate cleansers in between other books because you can read them in one sitting. I really like them. These gals who go to a lumberjane camp get into some crazy shenanigans with magical beings in the forest. It's fun. Next up, I am reading Darius the Great by Adib Khorram, and I have read the first. Darius the Great is not okay, and I need to read the second, which I can't remember the title. Here it is. I read the first during June, the Whatever-thon last year, and really enjoyed it. It was Sandra's favorite, I believe, one of Sandra's favorites. And this is about a boy who travels to his grandfather's country. I believe it's Iran. Sorry if I'm wrong, but he basically learns about himself and who he loves. It's a very touching story, and I would like to finish that duology. Next up, we've got the Wayward Children series by Shauna McGuire. I have only read the first in this series, and I would love to do some sort of reading vlog where I read all 8 that are out, I believe. This is Shauna McGuire's series where we dive into the life of some children at an orphanage, and they, first of all, have their lives in the orphanage, but they came from these portal worlds, and we jump into those worlds with them. The first one I read really quickly for some sort of readathon, I think Becca's Bookopoly-thon, and I would like to reread the first so that I can get fully immersed in the series and read all 8 together. Next up, we've got Acotar by Sarah J. Maas. I have only read A Court of Thorns and Roses, the first in the Acotar series. I would like to read the rest of the books. I know they're little... Let's just say Acotar was YA fantasy romance, and then the rest go into more adult romance. Some spicier things happen, I believe, which I'm okay with, but I'm not so certain I can follow along in the fantasy. So we will see. Fantasy isn't the biggest genre that I read, but the first book was still so enjoyable that I would like to try to continue. Next up, we've got Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. I have read the first in this 3-part series, and these are actually short stories within each book. The first one had 4 short stories about a coffee shop where if you go in and sit in one particular seat, you can go back to any time that you choose, but it has to be in that seat. And you can talk to anyone that has been to the store. I can't remember, but the first one was good, and I'd be interested to see what other storylines come up from this author. Next up, we've got another middle grade. This is Life of a Cactus by Dusty Bowling. The first book is called The Insignificant Events in the Life of a Cactus, I believe, and I can't remember the second, but I have read the first and not read the second. Then we've got Beloved by Toni Morrison. I have it up there on my shelves, but my editing self is going to hate me later because I'll just put a picture. This is actually a 3-part series, which I did not realize, and so I've read the first in the series, but have not read the other 2. Next up, we've got some manga, which I have just kind of dipped my toe into with some easier manga. So the first is The Promised Neverland by Kaiju Shirai. I have read 2 of the 20 volumes in this series. And then we also have Spy Family by Tatsuya Endo. I have read 5 of the 10 volumes in this manga series. Next up, we've got Finley Donovan by El Casamano. I have read Finley Donovan is Killing It and Finley Donovan Knocks Him Dead. Those are the first two. The third one is out. I have not read it, and it's said that there will be a fourth. I've actually heard there's going to be maybe 2 more, so a total of 6, but I've read 2 of the ones that are out so far. Another middle grade series. Sorry, we are just kind of jumping all around here. But another middle grade series is The One and Only Ivan, The One and Only Bob, and now the third one is The One and Only Ruby. I have read the first 2, Ivan and Bob, but Ruby just came out a couple of weeks ago, and I would love to read that one. Next up, we've got The Wedding Date by Jasmine Guillory. I don't know if that's the actual name of the series, and these are more companions, I would say. The first book focuses on one couple, and then the second book talks about like a friend of that couple, and then the third book talks about a sister of that couple or something like that. So you don't really have to read them in sequential order to understand what's going on. These are fun romances. I really enjoyed the first one for sure. I can't necessarily remember the second or third and what they're called, but I've read 3 out of the 6 that are out right now. I think the next one I have to read is a holiday one, so maybe I would save that for around the holidays. Next up, I actually have this one right here. It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I need to read It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. This is a duology that wasn't originally going to be one, but started with It Ends With Us, and then we got a prologue, or I mean a prequel called It Starts With Us, and I'm hoping to read these fairly soon so I could check this series off of my list. But it's been so long since I read It Ends With Us that I feel like I need to reread it. Let's see, where are we? Oh, we've got, do I have this one? Sure do. Just trying to help my editing self out. We've got Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. This is a 3-book series. I didn't realize that. I knew that there was Me Before You, and I knew that there was Still You. I read those too. Or no, After You. The second is called After You. The third one is called Still You. And I have not read that one. I don't think. This storyline is really confusing me, and I feel like I don't understand if what I've read, there could be a sequel after that. So maybe I have read all 3. I'll just have to get Still You and see if I remember it whatsoever. But I haven't marked it anywhere that I have read it. So Me Before You and After You I've read. Still need to read Still You. Then we've got Anne of Green Gables. I just read Anne of Green Gables this month. I don't know if the series is actually called that or if it's called Avonlea or something, but I read 1 out of, I think, 15 books in this series by L.M. Montgomery. These are middle grade classics, and I really enjoyed Anne of Green Gables. I would love to revisit Anne and all of her friends in Avonlea. Next up, we've got The Tattooist of Auschwitz, and there's a second book called Silva's Journey, I think. I have it on my shelves down there, but I couldn't find it. So I read The Tattooist of Auschwitz quite a while ago. This is a World War II historical fiction, but I don't know if... Oh, it's Silka's Journey. Silka's Journey by Heather Morris. I need to read the second one. I read the first one, really, really loved it. I love historical fiction written around World War II, and I know that it is overdone and the book market is saturated with World War II historical fiction, but I still really enjoy it. So yeah, I would love to pick up Silka's Journey soon. Back to another middle grade series. Actually, the next 3 are all middle grade, and the last 3 are all middle grade. So we've got The Land of Stories by Chris Colfer. This is a fantastical middle grade series about twin boy and girl, Alex and Connor, wow, I'm good, who travel into the pages of fairy tales. It's fun. I read the first one. It was enjoyable, really fun to listen to because it's Chris Colfer narrating the audiobooks, and there's fun music in the background. So I enjoyed this first one, and I need to read the other 5, which I have on my shelves. Then we've got The Keeper of the Lost Cities series by Shannon Messenger. I have read the first 2 books, but this is going to be a 10-book series. I think Shannon Messenger has 9 of the 10 out right now. One of them might be a novella or a 0.5 along the way. Or wait, there are 10 out right now, but one of them is a 0.5. This is a fun fantasy middle grade series, middle grade YA, about Sophie, who learns that she is an elf. And we follow her along in her journey as she goes to school, learns about her powers, and lots of crazy stuff happens. It's fun. It's a really fun series, and I can't wait to read more. Lastly, we have Chains by Lori Hales Anderson. Actually, this is the Seeds of America series. So there's Chains, Forge, and Ashes, I want to say. This is a middle grade historical fiction series that takes place in the Revolutionary War times. We follow a young girl who is a slave and her journey to try to escape slavery. I really liked the first two. They're fun to listen to, so I can't wait to get to Ashes, hopefully this year. If you were counting, I don't know if I said it at the very beginning, but that's 25 series that I am currently reading and 2 series that I'm caught up with. So that's crazy. And if you're a nerd like me and love numbers, I just for fun added up all the books that I would have to read in order to catch up with all 25 of these series. And that number is, drumroll, 104 books. 104 books I would have to read to catch up with these 25 series. Never gonna happen because there are also series that I will add on to this list, but let's just see if we can get 25 series down to who knows what next year. Anyway, if you have read any of these series and liked them, let me know in the comments down below, or tell me if there are any series that I shouldn't put my time toward, any that I mentioned in this video. Let me know, that'd be great. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Like this video on your way out, consider subscribing to my channel if you would like to see more bookish and bullet journaling content from me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!